nobody wants to be that broke friend on vacation. Hey guys, welcome to my channel. Welcome back to another video. If you're new, thanks for tuning in. I hope you enjoy. If you're returning, welcome back. Thanks for hanging out with me. Today's video is going to be how I plan a budget-friendly vacation, a quality budget-friendly vacation, because we don't want to go to just any rinky-dink place. We want to go to nice places, but not have to spend the money or be able to afford the places that we actually want to go. Because I know I have a little bit of a bougie taste, and sometimes you got to plan stuff out better so that way you can go without having to like break the bank all at once. So if you're interested in seeing my tips on how to plan this budget-friendly vacation, as well as my #1 tip for planning a vacation, stay tuned and keep on watching. Okay, so tip #1 is to try and find trustworthy friends to go with. It's so much cheaper to split hotels, split rentals, split Ubers and things like that than having to pay for everything out of pocket by yourself. Now, the key word here is trustworthy. I don't know how many times I've tried to plan a vacation and people have backed out over time. They backed out at the last minute, and because you were expecting 6-7 people to go and now it's only 1 or 2 people going, that raises the price for everyone else. So make sure the people that you're inviting on these trips have the money to go, have the money to go. Make sure they've proven to you in the past that they stick to what they say they're going to do, and try to find a group of people like that, and it gets so much cheaper that way. Instead of paying $500 for a hotel, maybe you're paying $250 because you're splitting it with someone else. Instead of paying, you know what I'm saying, right? You get where I'm coming from. So I also would say to try to make sure that you can pay for the majority of the trip yourself. That way, if someone does back out, you don't have a problem. Tip #2 would be to choose a location that fits within your budget. Now, I know everybody wants to go to the hotspot places like New York, LA, Miami, Vegas. For international travel, they want to go to Santorini, Paris, Rome, but those places are tourist hotspots for a reason. They make their money on tourism, so everything is going to be more expensive. From the flight to the hotel to the food and souvenirs, everything is going to be more money than if you were to go someplace a little bit more low-key. So my suggestion is to find a place that's a little bit cheaper that still kind of gives you what you want. Some locations are like San Antonio, Texas, Portland, Oregon, Williamsburg, Pennsylvania, and they're also kind of close to those hotspots where you can always just take a day trip over to get that experience that you want if you really want to. I usually know where I'm going before I plan my vacation to begin with. I already have an idea of where I want to go, but if you are unsure of where you want to go and you don't know what places might be best for you, you can always do a quick Google search and just type in best places or cheapest places in the US to travel, and they literally have lists and lists of sites of people who have done the research and have shown which places are the cheapest, and you can choose one of those based on what you like and what you think will be enjoyable for you. Tip #3 is to plan your travel. Obviously, if you're going on a staycation or if you're going a couple of states away, a road trip is the best way to go. All you have to do is pay for gas and tolls, and if you're going with other people and other people are going to be in your car, you're going to split that price even more. So they have different websites where you can look up how much the toll and gas is estimated to be. I found this site called Toll Guru that I think is really good. You put in your start location, your end location. You can even add in the make and model of your car, how much mileage it usually gets, what's the gas prices in your area, and it will literally tell you how much it estimates you to pay in gas and tolls, as well as tell you where those tolls are. So I think that's a really handy tip, because now you can put that money aside. You can tell whoever's in your car how much you expect gas and tolls to be, and you can put that money on your Easy Pass beforehand. And that makes it so much easier, because now you don't have to worry about paying that the day of. It's already paid for you. Moving on to booking a flight, #1 thing I would say with booking a flight is try to get that first. It's way cheaper when you can get a flight a couple of months in advance rather than a month in advance or a couple of weeks. The price is going to go up the closer you get to your trip. So try to get that flight taken care of as soon as possible when you're trying to book a vacation. I usually go on a couple of different sites to book my flights. I'll go on Expedia, Priceline, Cheap Flights. I'll look at Google. And the reason I do this is because they have different, I I feel like they have different affiliates with different airlines and stuff like that. Like sometimes I'll see a bunch of United Airlines or a bunch of Delta flights, and I won't see that many JetBlue sites. I'll go on another site and I'll see a bunch of JetBlue flights, you know? And also, like, they'll just randomly show you different prices. I don't know how they do it, but they'll show you different prices. So I looked up a flight from New York to Fort Myers, which is around where my mom lives in Florida. And I see on Expedia, they have a $97 flight, a $99 JetBlue flight, and a $159 American Airlines flight. Now I look up that same flight, I'll look at that same pattern from New York to Fort Myers, and I'll do this on Priceline. And instead, I'll still see the United Airlines flight for $97. I'll still see that JetBlue flight for $99. But now when I look at American Airlines, I see one for $133. It's $20 cheaper on here. Why? Because it's a different time, but it didn't even show that price on the other website. So it's definitely a good idea to go to different sites and kind of price it that way. If you want a more detailed video of how I book my flights, what sites I use, how I compare, etc., etc., in addition to how I do that with my hotels, because hotels can also be something where I have to price around to see what I want to do, I'll make a separate video. Just leave a comment below and let me know if that's something you would want to see, and I'll make a separate video dedicated to that, because it can take a lot of time, and doing that right now and showing you this in this video is just going to be too much. It will take up the entire video, but it is a really good tip to do, so I had to say it. Another quick tip on how to find a good flight is to sign up for the email of the flights and the airlines that you like the best. I'm signed up for Delta, JetBlue, and Southwest, and just today I got an email from Southwest, or I got an email from JetBlue saying that they had $31 flights. Now, you do have to check the fine print. Usually they have blackout dates and days. For this particular email, they said no flights on Friday or Sunday, and no flights the week of Thanksgiving. So those are their blackout dates where you're not gonna find, it's not that you can't fly, but you're not gonna find that deal for those days. But any other days, $31, you can literally plan your whole trip around that $31 flight. Just because I'm giving you tips like, oh, you know, see what friends you want to go, or choose your location. If you found that flight for a location that you like best, you can do that first, and then afterwards do the other steps that I'm giving you. So that way you already have one thing done, and you already booked that flight first, which is the first thing, like I said, that you should be doing. Okay, tip number 4 would be to make an itinerary. Now, I'm not saying that you need to have everything planned down to the hour, down to the second. It's so strict and rigid where you can't do anything else. You have to stick to this timeline and have to stick to this itinerary. I'm not saying that. I'm not that type of person, but having an itinerary helps you in the long run, because you can budget what you need to spend for your trip beforehand, whether it's what you need to spend on the trip or something that you can pay off beforehand. Having that itinerary gives you an outline of what you're going to be spending, and you can choose what you want to spend and what you don't want to spend. You know, it really eliminates a lot of those last minute expenses while you're on a trip, because you already know what you plan on doing. Nobody wants to be that broke friend on vacation. Like, nobody wants to sit there and ruin the mood of everyone else, because not only do you not have money, so you're in a bad mood because you didn't expect to do certain things, but now other people don't know if they have to, you know, go into their funds and pay for you. And I wouldn't feel bad if they left you at home, honestly. I wouldn't do that. I know my friends will have my back, and I'd be able to pay for them, they'd be able to pay for me, and we do that for each other. But a lot of people don't want to sit there and go into their own money to pay for you, because you knew about this trip ahead of time and you should have had that money set aside. But even if you didn't, having that itinerary helps you budget all of that in advance and gets rid of a lot of those last minute worries and stuff like that. So we have 2 more tips, and then we get to my number 1 tip on how to plan a budget-friendly vacation. Tip number 5, I think we're at 5. So my next tip would be to use payment plans and pay in advance for as much as possible. If they have a payment plan, use it. It is so much easier to pay for something over time than dropping all of that money at once. And I think that's the main thing that people are hesitant about when going on vacation, because they think they have to spend $2,000 in one trip, and that doesn't have to be the case. So if you have like excursions, if you have museums, if you have tickets, parties, whatever you plan on doing, if you can pay for it before you go, that leaves you open when you go on vacation. Now all you have to worry about is food, if you're not somewhere all inclusive, and like souvenirs and stuff. Hotels, I know they made hotels a little bit more difficult now. Most of the time you're able to pay some kind of deposit, or if you're not able to pay a deposit, try to call a hotel and see if you can set up a payment plan or pay before you go. But they have changed their laws because of so much scamming and stuff like that. So they might ask you to send over a copy of your ID or fax over a credit authorization card, and you may be subject to a little fee for doing this. But just in general, when you don't have to go and spend $600 on your hotel room as soon as you get there, it's a load off your back, and it makes enjoying everything so much better. It makes going on a vacation so much more fun, especially when you know everything you're doing is already paid off. Once you get there, all you gotta do is pay for food, maybe gas, Ubers, depending on how you're traveling when you're there. But it makes it so much more like it's a relief. And now you don't have to worry about a lot more things than if you didn't do it beforehand. So if you made it this far, thanks for watching. I know you're here to see my #1 tip, and it's honestly really simple. It's to plan in advance. And I know that seems like duh, obviously, but I mean like really in advance. For every day that you're going on vacation, you should be adding a month of planning to your trip. Why? Because it gives you the time to do the other things that I told you about. It gives you time to book your flight early, to look up the tolls, to make an itinerary, to make payment plans and pay for things in advance. It becomes budget friendly because you're not rushing to put all of this money down at once. So let's say, for example, you're going on a 7-day trip. For make it easy, it's $700. You plan that 7 months in advance. That's only $100 a month. That's only $25 a week. Anybody can go on a vacation for $25 a week. And when you look at it that way, it makes it so much more doable. A lot of people don't go on vacations because they think it's so much money and it's so expensive and they have to put so much down. But if you did the tips that I gave you, it becomes doable and it becomes budget friendly that way. So I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope that it was helpful for you planning your own vacation. I know millennials love to go on trips and everything, but so many people don't go away because they think it's too expensive, and it's really not that hard to do. You can do it pretty much on any budget. I do have a bunch more tips, so if you want to see more of this, please just let me know in the comments. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so that way you know the next time I post a video, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.